Greetings, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another edition of Skeptic Bible Study. In this session, we're going to focus on the episodic nature of the Gospels. Now, as you read the different Gospel stories, any one of the four, you kind of get the sense that what they are is basically a story of a put-down of John the Baptist and the crucifixion of Jesus, and sandwiched in between are a variety of different miracle stories that are sort of sloppily laid out in this patchwork yarn. And one of the most interesting things about them is their episodic nature. And by that, what I mean is that one miracle story begins, Jesus basically, and it goes through the same pattern, Jesus says he's going to perform a miracle, the disciples say it cannot be done, Jesus says something like, "Oh, ye of little faith," does the miracle, and the disciples are amazed. And at the end of that episode, everything is reset to zero, so we start all over again. And it goes through that rough pattern every single time. The disciples say it can't be done, Jesus does it, the disciples are amazed. Now, one example of this that I really love, and this is what really leapt out at me when I read the Gospels cover to cover. Everyone turn in your Bibles to Mark chapter 6, and it roughly starts off in 35, where he feeds thousands of families. It says, "When it grew late, his disciples came to him and said, 'This is a deserted place, and the hour is now very late. Send them away so that they may go into the surrounding country and villages and buy something for themselves to eat.' But he answered them, 'You give them something to eat.' And they said to him, 'Where are they to go to buy 200 denarii worth of bread and give it to them to eat?' And he said to them, 'How many loaves have you? Go and see.' When they found out, they said, 5 and 2 fish. Then he ordered them to get all the people to sit down in groups on the green grass. So they sat down in groups of hundreds and fifties. Taking the 5 loaves and the 2 fish, he looked up to heaven and blessed and broke the loaves and gave them to the disciples to set before the people. And he divided the 2 fish among them all. And all that ate were filled. And they took up the 12 baskets full of broken pieces and of the fish. And those who had eaten the loaves numbered 5,000 men." So essentially, Jesus fed about 5,000 families there. Now, this story is then repeated roughly in Mark chapter 8. It says, "In those days, when there again came a great crowd without anything to eat, he called his disciples and said to them, 'I have compassion for the crowd because they have been with me now for 3 days and have nothing to eat. If I send them away hungry to their homes, they will faint on the way. And some of them have come from a great distance.' His disciples replied, 'How can one feed these people with the bread here in the desert?'" At this point, I expected Jesus to smack his disciples for not remembering that 2 chapters ago he performed the exact same miracle. He said, "How many loaves do you have?" And they said 7. And he ordered the crowd to sit down, and they took the 7 loaves, and after giving thanks, he broke them and gave them to his disciples to distribute. And they distributed them to the crowds. They also have a few small fish. And after blessing them, he ordered that these 2 should be distributed. And they ate and were filled. And they took up the broken pieces left over, 7 baskets full. Now there were about 4,000 people, and he sent them away. So basically, Jesus managed to feed even fewer people with more food. Why did the disciples have any moment of doubt? 2 chapters ago, he performed the exact same miracle. And this stuff is throughout all of the Gospels here. Same pattern over and over again. The disciples say, "How is this going to be done?" Jesus performs the miracles, and the disciples are amazed. And then they forget all about it so that they can be amazed all over again. But I think the most outrageous story has to be in the Gospel according to John, chapter 20, verse 24, the Doubting Thomas story. This is after Jesus had been resurrected, and the disciples were all excited about this. And it says in verse 24, "But Thomas, one of the 12, was not with them when Jesus came. So the other disciples told him, 'We have seen the Lord.' But he said to them, 'Unless I see the mark of the nails in his hands, and put my finger in the mark of the nails, and my hand in his side, I will not believe.'" Hello? You're talking about the man that you've declared to be truly the Son of God. You've seen him raise the dead on at least 2 different occasions. You've seen him cast out demons, heal entire crowds of sick people, perform one miracle after the other, including feeding thousands of families with magically generated food. What is your problem here? Why are you thinking that you're dealing with an ordinary human being and that the normal rules of nature apply to him? By this point, Thomas should be so jaded that absolutely nothing should surprise him. Jesus is resurrected? Oh, well, how's he feeling? What was it like being dead? That should have been his reaction. If you are traveling with the earthly avatar of God, eventually it should occur to you after seeing so many miracles that you're not dealing with an ordinary human being here. The gospel characters are not believable characters. They act like two-dimensional dunces who go through the same experiences over and over again, never actually learning from anything. So as we read the Gospels, we realize this is not even a well-written story. This is a very badly written story, never mind something that should be taken seriously as a historical account. I can't throw this because it's way too heavy and I might damage something. May God's gift of reason light our way.